joins us live from the Lebanese capital, Beirut. Heidi, earlier you were trying to get to the scene where there has been an Israeli attack on the coastline of Beirut, a popular area. We're now hearing that at least 6 people have been killed. Have you managed to get any closer or find out more on what's happened exactly?
Yes, so this scene is the aftermath of the attack on Ramlet al-Baida, which is Beirut's seafront. It's a palm-lined boulevard, the beach in the background. It's ordinarily a place of leisure and fun, but you can see here the damage to the vehicles that have been parked along the beachfront here. Now, many of these vehicles are parked here, and there's tents just behind me as well, because people have been sleeping in their cars and on the streets. But as you can see here, the impact of an Israeli projectile that was fired here into the ground. This was actually a double tap attack. This is just one of the impacts that we've seen here. There is actually, we're going to walk through and we'll find there's another impact just over here. You can see the impact of the shrapnel that sprayed through this scene. We've had an update from the Ministry of Health here in Lebanon tonight. Actually, the total number of people who were killed in this strike has now risen to 7, and there were 21 wounded. And you can really understand how that came to pass when you see the level of damage and how much shrapnel was sprayed through this scene. You can see the impact site of another one of these projectiles here, because there was not just one, but 2 what appear to be small missiles. We're becoming, unfortunately, quite used to the Israeli use of these smaller projectiles deep into central Beirut. This is the 3rd strike in a week, which has targeted areas outside of the traditional Hezbollah areas that Israel says that it is targeting. Instead, what we have seen in the last week is a strike on the Comfort Hotel in Babda, which is a Christian area. And then just a couple of nights ago, we had a strike on the Ramada Hotel in downtown Beirut, not very far from here, actually. There's a strip of upmarket hotels just behind me along the beachfront. And we had an Israeli strike that took out a couple of rooms in one of those hotels. They say that they were targeting commanders of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Iran says that, in fact, the people who were killed in that strike were their diplomats. And then just last night, we had another Israeli assassination strike, which targeted an apartment building in a deeply, deeply populated residential area, once again in central Beirut. And so what this is doing, it's contributing to this feeling that there is nowhere safe in the capital. People have been following these mass forced evacuation orders that are issued by the Israeli military. They're vacating their homes. They're taking almost nothing with them. We see people on the streets who are carrying their belongings in plastic bags. And they've been coming to places like this, sleeping on the beachfront in tents in their cars. And what we've seen here tonight on the beaches of Beirut is blood in the sand, as once again people are killed in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and Heidi, just a few questions there. First of all, do we know from the officials that you've managed to speak to who this attack was targeting? Often when they target cars or specific places like that, when I say often they, I mean Israel, it's a targeted assassination. Do we know who was killed in this? And second of all, I recognise where you are. It's an area where a lot of people are walking, cycling, buying tea, coffee, corn, all sorts. It's a place of leisure. So what's the atmosphere there now? And have you had a chance to speak to those along there?
Now, I lost the...
All right. Well, it looks like we may have lost connection to Heidi Pett, our reporter there, who's just told us that the number of those killed has risen to 7. That's in Beirut, in an Israeli, what seems to be a drone strike on a popular area along the coast where many families and also many of those displaced are taking shelter. We'll try and bring you an update as and when we can.